Welcome to this auditorium once again. And now we start our discussion. As I said earlier, our real objective is not to give some sermons or mantras or how to be successful in life, and such things you can find in plenty, but that is not what really helps us to awaken the guru within ourselves. See, as I said, every person by nature has been given that ability to guide himself, to find the solution of problems, sometimes much bigger problems, sometimes smaller problems. But life is always full of joys and pleasures and problems, as you know. So if we can develop that faculty of mind which can guide us to solve our problems, that is the guru within me. And as I said, this is the best guru on earth, because if my guru is inside me, it travels with me, it is with me in all the problems, in all the adversities, in all the joys, and it guides me. Now, our discussion will be first on a topic, how to realize inner potential. Later on, we will cover one or two more topics, but eventually we would like to have a conversation with the audience here, and we would like to address the questions of young minds. Everyone is young here, I'm very sure. When you think you are young, okay? So these young minds should ask their questions, and that will be our final session. Now in this session, as I said, we want to discuss together, we want to develop our thoughts on how to realize inner potential. We have to focus on each and every word in this. Now, the most important in this is inner potential. So first we should ask a question, what is potential? Then, what is inner potential? Then, how do we realize it? So if we can answer these three questions, I think some part of the subject we will be learning, we will be developing our thoughts, and maybe we will be able to internalize it. So, first question is, what is potential? You know, this is a very scientific term. In physics, people use potential energy, potential difference. Potential is the ability to do work, okay? To do activities, to make life meaningful, we have to do activities, to also to make life joyful. And the potential is the ability to do that. Now let us try to understand in terms of a metaphor by taking an example of a big lake of water at some height. You know, in Maharashtra, there are many lakes which are at the height, and Tatas, what they did, they make that water to flow in channels and use that height of the water, which is stored in the form of potential energy in that lake which is at a height, and convert that into electrical energy. So the ability of water at a height is its potential. It is also its potential energy. And then we can convert into electricity, this is a positive utilization of potential. If it were not utilized, maybe this could have been a negative thing. For example, if there is a breach in the embankment of the lake, that water can flow on the villages below, and there could be floods, people could die, there could be loss of property. But by channelizing that energy in the form of flow tunnels or flow pipes sometimes, we can run a turbine and generate electricity, and that electricity, you know, is so basic for our life, right from this microphone to mobile to lighting to fan, air conditioning. These days, can you think of life without electricity? This generation perhaps can't. So, we convert that potential into a very useful form and generate joy for millions of people or maybe billion people. If our all rural areas are electrified, then we can say, yes, 1.3 billion people have access to electricity. Right now, not. So, potential is that storage, it is the capability, it is the ability of a person to do activities which benefits society, which benefits nation, which benefits family, and which benefits that person also. So this is potential. And in case of water, in our example, it depends on two parameters. One, that how much is the height of that water, you know. If higher the lake, higher the potential energy. So how much is the energy stored in that water in the form of potential energy? And second factor is the quantity of water. If there were little water, will anyone like to use it for generating electricity? No. If it were a small pond or small tank, it's a huge lake. So the potential of the water depends on the energy and the quantity. This we should keep it in mind, and when we come to inner potential, we will relate it to what is the meaning of potential of an individual, which we call as inner potential. So if we have understood potential, now let us ask a question, what is inner potential? Inner is within us, not outside us. So this is something which is purely mental or psychological. So my potential energy in the form of my mental ability or my potential to do things in the world. World is full of activities and people only are doing activities. Other animals also do activities. That is how nature made us, all the living beings of this planet. But we are talking of inner potential. And inner potential is something which is very specific to human being. Not even the nearest species, I don't know, we don't know as a scientist whether apes, do they think of inner potential? But some scientists may say that yes, they also use tools, for example. So they have some thinking ability, but we don't know, I don't know that. But this is very specific to human being, inner potential. That means realization that what my mental and psychological faculty can do things or can make me do things. You know, anything you do, you can think it over. If I am wrong, please tell me that. Anything you do, before doing you have to think. Many times, you know, people also do things without thinking. That's not good. Involuntary things, yes, they happen. You don't have to think. Involuntary actions within our physiology. You don't have to think of that. Nature has made us like that. We are the products, we are the children of nature. So it gave us many involuntary things. But when you do some action, whether you have to do MSc, whether you have to do it in botany, or whether you have to do it in physics, or whether I have to go to Goa, whether I have to go to Germany or some other place, I have to think. So thinking precedes action, karmas. And therefore, inner potential is the one which makes us do things in our life. So the success and failure of life depends on whether I apply my inner potential or not. Am I right? So now let us ask ourselves, what is this inner potential? What are the different nuances, or what are the different aspects associated with this inner potential? And how would I realize my inner potential? Inner potential is also individual. This we will discuss in a comprehensive manner. Okay? And together we will conclude whether what we are discussing is correct or not. Because in science, there is no prophecy. It is not that one person says that everyone has to follow. Absolutely not. In science means there has to be a truth to which all of us agree together. So our approach is scientific. Together we want to know that what we are discussing, is it true? Is it really true for everyone? Or someone may say, no, I don't agree with that. Then this is not scientific then. So together we have to discuss this. What is inner potential? And how do we realize it? As I said, inner potential is our mental and psychological ability to do things. Like in case of example of the water lake at a height, we saw that potential of that water to produce electricity depends on two parameters. One is the quantity of the water and the height of that lake. In case of inner potential, these two parameters are quality of my thoughts and quantity of the work that I do. As we discussed, that before any action, before any karma, we have to do a lot of thinking. When I am taking, for example, PhD in physics, I have to think many times, am I doing the right thing? Why I should do in physics? Maybe the job opportunities are not very good. If I do it in management or if I do it in mass communication, maybe I'll be better. So there are, lots of questions that come to our mind, and eventually we take a decision. And that decision is guided by the purpose of our life, which we will discuss in the next lecture. And finally, this mind which takes the decision defines the quality of my potential. And second parameter is quantity of the work, quantity of the karma, or quantity of the action that I do. So in case of lake of water, we had potential energy into multiplied with the quantity of water. In case of inner potential, it is the quality of my thoughts into the quantity of my karma. So it's a product of two things, quality into quantity. That defines the inner potential. If the quality of my thoughts is great, my inner potential will be high. If the quality of my talents is great, my inner potential will be high. And it is not enough. Second parameter is a product of that. Quantity of karma. Once I realize high quality of thoughts, if I don't translate that into action, then potential is again low. So potential, inner potential is the product of quality and quantity. If quantity is zero, even if I have great thoughts, it's useless. Or on the other hand, if quality of my thoughts is nothing, it's useless, then again potential, inner potential is very low. So it's the product of these two. Now let us take an example of a very famous singer who had origin in Goa, Lata Mangeshkar. Quality of her voice. This is a talent. And talent can be God gifted. Yes, her quality of voice, voice is something which is biological. The voice box which we have in our throat, okay, and the frequency spectrum of the voice which I produce, this is God gifted, nature gifted. So this one may say, and then music. Music, is like mathematics. You should have a very good sense of swar, notes, which is, a combination of frequencies. They also follow a geometric progression. It's highly mathematical, but fantastic, no? Amazing that frequencies put in a certain order, they generate emotions. No? Certain music, it makes us cry. Not only the words, but even the raga. Because the frequency combination and emotion of our mind, somehow they are connected. So this is the quality of her inner potential. We are talking of Lata Mangeshkar. No? Her nice voice, her brain, mind, which can understand the notes of a music and put it in the form of a raga, and she can produce it through her voice. This is quality. And quantity, number of songs. How many songs she sang? I don't even know. There are singers, who also sang very beautiful, but maybe 2 songs. Nobody knows them. I know a singer who is in my village. He's a very good singer, but he sang, on his recorded songs are only 2, so quantity is less. So he could not utilize his inner potential. I feel sad for him. Maybe he could have been as famous or as good for himself and his family had he applied his inner potential as well as Lata Mangeshkar. Of course, these are very high-end examples. Okay, all of us may not have that talents, including I don't think I have some extraordinary talents. When I was selected at Bhabha Atomic Research Center as a scientist, I felt very nice that, oh, I am a wonderful, talented scientist. I got selected. So I thought next target should be Nobel Prize. Yeah. Talents have to be of very high level. Only few people are gifted by nature. But if we say that talent is only given by nature, I feel we are wrong. Because there are examples where people were not born with natural abilities, but through grooming, through practice, through training, through preparation, through perseverance, through hard work, they develop that capability. You know, you will find, I'll not tell you a lot of stories because I want to narrow it down only to very scientific part of the discussion, but you will learn from many athletes, for example. You know, there was a lady, she had paralytical attacks and all that, but finally she won a gold medal in Olympic sprint. Gold medal, imagine. Now it is not her natural talent, but through practice, through dedication, through strong will, we can also achieve quality. So quality of our inner potential might come from talent, such as Lata Mangeshkar, or it can be groomed. So there are, two branching here. If we talk of quality of our inner potential, it can be either a God-gifted talent, no? Or through hard work, through dedication, through perseverance, we can develop abilities. So this is the quality part of the inner potential. And second part is quantity. And quantity also has different nuances. No? You know, if I have good health, for example, good health is very important for quantity of work you can do. This is one of the nuances, one of the attributes of quantity part of the inner potential. Then your willpower. No? One may have good health, but you are only sleeping and making good health is useless. But if you are applying that good health, because you don't have to waste time in hospitals and for treatments and all that, health is one of the greatest gifts of nature, because diseases also come from nature. So, it's a random interaction of nature and decides randomly who will have health and who will not have health. So we are lucky if all of us are sitting here without sneezing, yeah, and in good health. We must utilize this time to think about our inner potential. Okay, this time is very important because we do not get opportunity to discuss such questions every day. No? Most of the time our professors, our university administration or vice chancellor and everything else will say, oh, don't waste time, you should learn your subject. But sometimes we should also learn how to learn the subject. Isn't it an important part of learning? Yeah. This is what we realize when we, think over it. When we think, as I said, when I joined Bhabha Atomic Research Center, I had been thinking over many years, why didn't I get Nobel Prize? I met many Nobel laureates. I was once invited by a Nobel laureate in Max Planck Institute in Germany. His name is Klaus von Klitzing. When I met him, I realized I don't have that quality which he has. It's right that I didn't get it because I don't deserve it. But when you realize it so late, at least now I can share it with you. Maybe one of you will realize it very early in life. Very early in life is very important. If you realize on the last day of your life on earth, it's practically useless because in few hours everything will be over and depending on your relatives, what they want to do with the dead body, they'll do and finished. What is the point in realizing in those last hours? It's useless. It's better to pray God or pray nature or thank nature, thank relatives. So realizing early is important because if you realize early, you have time. If you realize it late, time is gone. But most of the time has gone in realizing that why I didn't get it. So you see, This we will discuss later. Klaus von Klitzing, you know, the kind of concentration he has, the kind of perfection in work he has. That is the quality of his inner potential. And then quantity of data. You know, he was sitting for 1 week without going home, without eating, without drinking properly. Yeah, sometimes they become very frail. And you know, they are so much focused that they even forget themselves. I heard, not this particular professor, but in Germany, I heard a story of a mathematician who was so focused on his work that when he changed his house, he was having a rental house, he, his wife and a little daughter, so they moved from one house to another house. But on one fine day, doing a lot of mathematical thing after some 20 hours, 30 hours, they don't have even, awareness of time. They're so much focused. This fellow, came to house, but he realized that he has come to the old house, the earlier house. And he forgot where they have shifted. Now he is thinking, oh, this house. We were here till yesterday, but I think we have shifted now. But he doesn't know where they have shifted. So a little girl was standing there. So he asked, little girl, do you know where these people have shifted? He himself was there, earlier. So little girl, do you know where these people have shifted? She said, yes, Papa, my mama sent me here. Because she knew that you will forget. He even forget that she is his daughter. That little girl was actually his daughter. And she said, my mama told me that you will anyway come to this house only, because she knows you very well. So come to me with our new house. So this is how the professors are. Yeah. And another professor, I was postdoc fellow at University of Heidelberg in Germany. And this professor was at Heidelberg. I have seen him. Many times I have seen him in the market on a rainy day moving like this without an umbrella. Yeah? Because he will go out from his office or home with umbrella. He will forget his umbrella invariably, but he thinks he is holding it. So he will be always seen walking like this. And once he was invited for a conference in Switzerland. He went in his car. Europe is all connected through roads. But he forgot that he came in car and he came back in train. He forgot his car there. And when he saw, and this professor I have actually seen in Germany, Professor Hermann, a great mathematician. So when he went to his garage next day, he found car is missing. So he went to police station and registered an FIR. That my car is missing. And there, of course, police is very effective. They said, sir, your car is at this and this venue in Switzerland. He said, okay, thank God I got it back. Yeah. So you see, it is not that they are very interesting for our humor, but if you look at their concentration, their devotion to the subject, that gives rise to the quality of their inner potential. And then they have quantity. I was at Bhabha Atomic Research Center for nearly 4 decades. I can tell you, if you perform 100 experiments by maybe 1 lakh scientists, only one will get Nobel Prize. So, success is like a tiny island in an ocean of failure. Okay, this is what the science is. Keep on trying, keep on learning, keep on seeing what nature is, how does it operate. Even after you forget your own life, success does not come like that. So inner potential, if we have that, or if we can groom it, if we can develop it, okay, then we will be wonderful people of this earth, which depends on 2 parameters, as I said, quality into quantity. Okay? So we have to focus on the quality of our thoughts. We should question ourselves, not others. Is the quality of my thought the best, or can I have a better quality than what I am thinking now? You can take help of your friends. You can treat me also your friend, but please never treat me your guru. You can even treat me your enemy if I have wasted your time. But for heaven's sake, make your guru within yourself. You can discuss with others. Is the quality of my thought the best, or can I think better than this? If you have this question in your mind, you will certainly tend towards better quality of thoughts. Then quantity, you should have good health, and you should have, rather we should have a good health, and we should have the will to use that good health for our thoughts. So this is inner potential. Quality of my thoughts and quantity of my action, product of these two qualities. Now the last question, how do we actually realize our inner potential? Each one of you, I am very sure, we are all products of nature. Everyone has been given a wonderful brain, and the most beautiful thing of brain is not the hardware, but the mind. Okay? It is the mind which drives the hardware. Brain is a hardware, body is a hardware. Of course, it's a hardware of living material. I was a material scientist. So how does a material scientist look at the body? It's a material, but it's a living material. There is another parameter. There is a physics of it, there is a chemistry of it, there is a biochemistry of it, but there is one thing more attached to this body, which is life. In an organized form. This is an organized thing. So many organs, and they are functioning in harmony with each other. Wonderful. I mean, if you think of the physiology and the kind of organs we have, which are like components. If body is like a living machine, then organs are like components. There is a control system, brain and mind. There is a respiratory system. There is digestive system. There is reproductive system. I can make another human being like me. Have you seen machines like this ever? If you ask that what is the most wonderful thing a human being can get on earth, is he or she himself. Okay? You are the best gift for yourself. So first thing that we must learn is to love yourself. Love yourself. Never, never, never think of looking down at yourself. You are such a wonderful creation of nature. If you deeply think, the most beautiful creation of nature is we ourselves. Of course, it is for a short time. This is not perennial. From birth to death. Some decades, that's all. So, and then it's gone. Some entity vanishes, although the organs, the system is still there, but it does not function. Okay? Once the life is gone. So this opportunity is limited. And in that limited opportunity, that question we should ask is, how to realize our inner potential? Realize is not to feel, but to encash. This word, realize has two meanings. I realize that you are happy today. No? This is feeling. But realizing is also encashing. Converting your inner potential into actions for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of yourself, for the benefit of family, for the benefit of neighbors, and finally, benefit of this planet, Earth, or if you are even higher, for the benefit of the universe? This we will think later. Okay, we will discuss it. Can individual think betterment of the universe? This is a separate subject. So how to realize this inner potential? This is the final question of this talk. You know, when we talk of realizing inner potential, our immediate attention goes to the mind, because inner potential is nothing but the mind. Am I right? We just now saw the quality of my thoughts, my willpower, my perseverance to do things, and finally I do it. So the product of quality of my mind and the quantity of the work which I do, which is also driven by the mind. So eventually, you know, the origin of inner potential is nothing but mind. Okay? So if I apply it, then I realize I encash on that potential energy of my mind, like we had potential energy of elevated lake of water. So immediately our attention goes to the mind, and mind should first have a goal. When I say should, means not as a diktat or as a mantra, I am discussing with you. Am I right? That we should first have a goal. If I don't have a goal, how do I go to that place? If I don't have a goal, how do I do it? When we decided to come to Goa, it was my goal to go to Goa. Then only I start looking at airlines booking and preparing my suitcase and preparing a lecture. So first you have to have a goal. G for goal. Okay? G for Goa, G for goal. Yeah? So very important point. You can remember it. And goals can be either positive or negative. For example, if I am a student and if my goal is that I should score this year 95% in statistical mechanics. If I am a MSc physics student and I am learning statistical mechanics or quantum mechanics, and my goal is I must score this year 95%. So this goal has to be set before the session starts. So your goal has to be set at a right time. You can't set a goal, as I said, very late in the life when life is already gone. No. Goal should be set as early as possible. If possible, now, maybe after the talk, or today. So first is goal. And goals can be positive or negative. If my goal is to score, let us say, 95% of the marks, this is a positive goal. But if my goal is, for example, if me and Professor Nayak are students in MSc, and my goal is I should score higher than him, this is not a positive goal. His goal may be only 10%, and if I score 12%, is it a good goal? So goal should be objective. It should not be subjective. And here I have a ill will also. I have an ill will that I should be seen better than him, although he is better than me. No? So goal should be a positive goal. Remember, there can be negative goals. We should not do that. As a society, we will suffer. As a nation, we will suffer. As a humanity, we will suffer. Don't think that I am alone. This we will discuss in the third lecture. Okay? That we as an individual are indistinguishable. Okay? In physics, in quantum mechanics, we have indistinguishable systems. They are just electrons, for example. In quantum mechanics, they are wave functions. Okay? So we are human wave functions. Okay? I am wave function, he is wave function. I could have been he could have been me. I can't divide myself from him. So goals should be positive. If my goal is to score 95% of marks in a particular subject, this is a positive goal. Okay? So first is goal. Second is mind gives you options. You know, everything is mind. So your goal will be decided by the mind. You will set a goal. After you have set the goal, you will have options. Now, what are the options? If my goal is to score 95% of marks, my first option is I must do hard work. Okay? I must learn the subject, I must understand the subject. This is an option. Okay, still 1 year is ahead of me. I have this option that I should learn, I should devote myself to learning the subject. Second option is, I don't like reading, so maybe I'll copy it in the exam. Still I will score 95. So goal will be met, 95%. But if you meet it through unfair means, then it's a negative exercise of option. It's exercising a negative option. This option is also there. No? Once, you know, a very famous scientist, I think Niels Bohr, he was asked a question that I'll give you a barometer and I'll ask you to measure the height of Leaning Tower of Pisa. Yeah? So what are the options available to you? He said, well, many options. You know, scientists, they generate lot of options. So this is another good quality of the mind, to generate lots of options, lots of possibilities, and then to select those which are positive and discard those which are negative. And out of the positive ones, you can select the best one. So Niels Bohr, he said, if you give me a barometer, I will measure the atmospheric pressure at the bottom of the leaning tower. I will measure the pressure at the top of the leaning tower. I will know the pressure difference. And pressure difference is the formula of height into density into gravitational constant, HdG. So if I know the density of air, which I know the G, so I can tell you H. Very good. He said another option is, I'll drop this barometer from top and measure how much time it took. Okay? So measuring the time of drop of barometer, you can also calculate the height. Third option, he said, I'll go to the municipality corporation, bribe this barometer to the fellow who already knows the height of this tower. And he'll tell me the height of this tower. So you see, so many options. If you think carefully, in life also, you will find many, many options are available. Okay? For example, you know, routine things. Let us not think of these Nobel laureates, or it's nice to listen to them, but we are practical, down-to-earth people. Okay, even this dais is little bit higher, it's still very close to earth. Okay, we are down-to-earth people. Okay, so for example, if I am coming to give a lecture here, and I come in an auto rickshaw fellow, tells me he'll charge, say, 250 rupees from Panjim bus stand. And when I come here, he says, no, sir, this is very far, I'll charge 300 rupees, and I may get angry. So what are the options now available? One is that I should be angry with him. He is doing something unjust to me. And in the name of unjust, I should be angry, I should teach him a lesson. This is one option. Another option is, ask him how many children he has. Maybe he has a small daughter. So I tell him, okay, this 50 rupees for your daughter, take 300. This is option available to you. Third is that in the name of God and in the name of nature, I give him. Fourth is, I give him like a brother. He is, after all, a human being. I am not distinguishable. He happened to be an auto fellow. How does it matter if I give him 50 rupees more? Which option will you exercise? You have 4 options now. So you see, in routine, in very small things, you have so many options available. Now if you want, you can be angry and spoil your mood, spoil his mood, and if you spoil your mood, you will spoil this lecture also. Is it a good option? Not really. Okay. See, I read somewhere, every day we don't do great things, but we can do things with great love. Even small things done with great love will give you joy in return. No? 50 rupees doesn't matter for me, but for him it matters a lot. I don't have to have a brawl with him. I don't have to be angry with him. Well, this is a very ordinary, but most cases I used to hear that today my boss was unhappy with me, so I'll not like to talk to him. Is it a good option? Boss is angry, it is his problem. It is his anger. Can't I produce a barrier of knowledge that he didn't use a language of love, a language of affection, a language of compassion towards his colleague? He used a rude language, but it is his problem. Why should I take that in me? This option is there. Now it is for me to decide whether I exercise this option or that option. I heard in Japan, in one company, when a new recruit joins, the boss gives him his photograph, a big photograph. Okay, boss gives a photograph to his subordinate. And he says, look, gentlemen, sometimes I'll be very demanding because I have to look into the benefits, profits of the company, and you may not like me. But if you don't like me, keep this photograph and beat him with your shoes. I don't mind. Okay, so he gives a photograph. But you have to behave well with me. A boss is a boss after all. Okay, so you see, there are many options available for everything. This is the theory of everything. In physics, we talk of theory of everything. There are many options available. In sometimes, yes, you may not have many options. You are forced upon, or you are facing a situation when options are limited. But option is a very important faculty of your inner potentials. So first was goal, second is O for options, and third is application. When I have options available, which one I apply? For example, in the example we were discussing, that if my goal is to score 95% marks in quantum mechanics, I choose an option of hard work, devotion, and understanding, rather than copying or mugging up. So I, don't, because those options will not be good for me. Later on, when I go for interview and someone asks me, what is quantum mechanics or what is the wave function, I'll not be able to reply. It's bad for me. If I mug up, if I copy, if I adopt unfair means, fair means will make me stronger. I will share a small story on, how sometimes a student perform in an interview. I was sitting in selection interviews, and one fellow, and that too, he is some 75%, 80% in MSc, and he had cleared the written exam, and he comes for the interview. So it's a physics interview. I asked him, so can you tell me what are the fundamental forces of nature? He says, sir, I know it. You can trust me, I know it. But I don't remember now. It's a problem of memory. It's not a problem of understanding. Yeah. So trust me, I know it. Okay. After all, I am 80%. How he scored 80%, I don't know. So then he asked me, sir, you can ask me next question. I asked him next question. Do you know what is Pauli's exclusion principle? Oh, this also I know. But I forgot. Then I asked him, my dear boy, can you tell me one field which you remember and you can tell now? Because unless you tell, I cannot even think of selecting you. He says, yes, sir. One thing I remember, and that is Hall effect. You can ask me a question on Hall effect. This was a general interview with a very simple question. So I asked him, what is Hall effect? He says, yes, sir, I remember. Now I remember this. But unfortunately, I remember only half of it. I said, half of it? Okay, tell half of it. He says, I remember it was written that such an effect is called Hall effect. Now this is his memory, you know. So his memory is blank because he scored marks 75 to 80% by mugging up, or I don't know, by copying, God knows. Okay, he was from some very good university, by the way. And the only answer he could answer was, such an effect is called Hall effect. So you see, if you mug up, whom you are harming? If you copy, whom you are cheating? Whom you are defeating? I am defeating myself. I am not defeating the system. First I defeat myself and then system gets defeated. So, goal should be positive, option should be positive, and application should also be positive. Okay? I have to apply the option which I selected. If I select an option of learning, understanding through discussions, these days we have online lectures. Now the world has changed. Even there are crores of students, no problem. We can cater wonderful lectures to crores of students on YouTube, on internet, which we call as MOOCs, okay? So if we learn and understand and then perform, then the application of my goal, my option is also positive. So we should have positive goals, we should have positive options, select positive options, and we should have positive application. Of course, application requires good health, okay, perseverance, willpower. So you see, G for goal, G for Goa, O for option, O is second letter of Goa, and A for application, third letter of Goa. So in Goa, we should have Goa, we should have a goal, we should have an option, we should have an application. If you do that, so I think all Goans must realize their inner potentials because they have goal, they have an option, they have an application. Positive goal, positive option, positive application will make us to have positive potential. But my dear friends, life is having one more factor, which is non-Goan factor, okay? And that non-Goan factor is, it's an experience. You also know that. It's not something new for any one of us. Unknown factors. You know, on 29th of August, there was very heavy rains in Mumbai. Okay? And one doctor, I think his name is Dr. Amrapurkar, he was going to his house. He called his wife that today car is not starting because it is stuck in water. I'll come walking and I'll reach in 5 to 10 minutes. So he was walking from his hospital to his home. On the way, the road was flooded and he didn't know and he fell in the manhole which was open. His life is gone. Third day we found his body. So what is this? Did he have a goal like that? Not at all. Did he have an option like that? He didn't know that and he never wanted such an option. Did he have an application? No. None of these. But the fourth factor, unknown factors, which some people call as destiny. Scientifically, what is destiny? It is random act of nature. You know, things are so large, okay? I have good goal of scoring 95% marks. I selected a good option of doing hard work and understanding the subject, and I applied it. I did a lot of hard work. but on the day of the exam, I fell ill. This is our common experience. Am I right? So there is another product. It is not GOA, G into O into A, but G into O into A into UF. UF is unknown factors. We don't know about that. That's not under our control. Many people either have a windfall, or many people don't have a good luck, even if we have a good Goa. Yeah, we have positive goal, we have positive options, positive mind, positive inner potential. So unknown factors are beyond our control, as far as I know. But if someone has higher knowledge, please share it with us. I don't know. There are unknown factors, okay, which are random acts of nature. And that also controls whether we can apply our inner potential or not. If Lata Mangeshkar could sing so many songs with such a high quality, means she was always lucky also. Okay? So, we don't know this factor, and having understood this, that if we should have a positive goal, if we exercise positive options, and we apply it positively, and we think over it, what are my goals? In the next lecture, we will discuss how to select the purpose of life, and that will decide our goal. How to select positive option. Train your mind, shun these negativities. Let us not fill our mind like a dustbin. We are much better than that. Okay, let us fill it with positivity, complete positivity. And it is possible. There are methods which we can discuss, of course. And then we apply it with positively. Let the unknown factors be aside. We don't know. We pray that this should not happen to anyone. Okay? But these three things are in our control, and they only define the inner potential. So, should we stop here? Thank you very much.